This is Valley News Live at 5.
We begin with new information this afternoon on the incident that led to a North Fargo neighborhood being put in shelter in place for nearly 3 hours last night. It happened in the 700 block of 14th Street North. Fargo investigators say a man fired a gun inside a home during a domestic dispute. A woman and child were inside at the time. The man has still not been identified by police and has not been arrested or charged as of yet. Now, he did reach out to us today, wanting, as he said, to set the record straight. Our crime and safety reporter Bailey Hurley joins us in the studio with what he had to say. Bailey?
Yeah, Mike, unfortunately, due to FCC rules, we're not able to play the recording of that phone conversation with last night's alleged suspect, but it started out on a very hostile note. As he stated, we had it all wrong, as he claimed there was never any gunshots fired and that he wasn't even in North Fargo when everything started unfolding. Now, the man told me his name was Kerry, and a dig through open records later revealed his full name is Kerry Knutson, a registered high-risk sex offender living at 721 14th Street North, which is the same place Tuesday night's alleged gunshot and hours-long standoff occurred. Knutson told me his soon-to-be ex-wife asked him to come get his belongings from the North Fargo home while she was traveling in Montana and said, quote, she came home to an empty house and didn't like it, so she decided she was going to call 911 and file a false police report stating that there was a gunshot. Moorhead PD did come over here and detain me, but then they realized it was false. Knutson then agreed to come to our studio and speak with me on camera this morning, but after over half an hour of waiting, he texted me saying that he changed his mind, stating police told him not to talk with us. And he warned me if we shared this story tonight, he would be pressing charges. Mike.
All right. Thanks, Bailey. And Fargo police say the woman and child involved in this incident were not injured. We reached out to Fargo police about Knutson's side of the story. However, they were unable to comment as the investigation is still active. Well, getting to and over Hump Day this week has been relatively easy going from a weather standpoint. However, there are some changes coming. Well, let's begin our coverage with details on what's going to go on tonight. Hutch?
Mike, thanks so much, and good evening, everyone. On your Wednesday, it's a Wednesday, that's for sure, with gusts over 30 miles per hour. Look at the fields of corn out there by the Dakota Magic Casino. First and foremost, the gustiest winds are out west, still near 40 miles per hour in Dickinson. Around the valley here, we have gusts upwards of 30 miles per hour. Temperatures a little cooler to the east today. Low 70s there, and we do have 80-degree weather from the Devil's Lake Basin out into Minot, where it's near 90 degrees. The gusty nature of the wind settles down this evening. Mike, expect 60s for most of the evening with a south breeze, we'll call it, at 10 to 20 miles per hour. But that extended forecast that you alluded to has us concerned enough to issue a first alert weather day for Friday. Some thunderstorms, a few of which could be severe, and this ushers in big time change. We'll detail all of that coming up in just a few more moments.
All right, sounds like some important information. Thanks, Hutch. Minnesota Governor Tim Walz visited a school in Ramsey County today to highlight ways educators in Minnesota are keeping students safe from COVID-19. He joined the State Department's of Education Commissioner to discuss testing programs. Governor Walz saying if officials can isolate COVID-19 with testing, they can prevent schools from being shut down.
It's a very simple principle, and the goal amongst everyone in that building and everyone in our administration is to keep students and staff in schools learning and enjoying and doing the things they need to do and keep them safe from COVID.
Meanwhile, all pre-K through 6th grade students in Fergus Falls Public Schools will need to mask up starting Monday. The superintendent there tells us that the district is well above the pace for COVID-19 cases among students and staff compared to last school year. As of today, all district staff are required to wear masks. The superintendent says the mandate will be in effect through October 25th. Now tonight on Valley News Live at 6, join us. You'll hear from one parent who says the timing of this mask requirement comes too late. The U.S. Attorney General is asking the FBI and state attorneys general to get involved in violence against school workers. Threats to assaults have been on the rise as school boards across the country address controversial issues like mask mandates and how educators teach about things like race and sexual equality. The request comes days after the National School Boards Association asked the Departments of Justice, Education, and Homeland Security to investigate. That organization referred to clashes at public meetings as forms of domestic terrorism and hate crimes. The Attorney General is also asking federal and state officials to meet with local leaders to discuss strategies to protect school workers. At least 4 people were wounded when a shooting started inside a high school near Dallas. The suspected shooter has turned himself into police and now faces multiple charges of aggravated assault. Immediately after the shots were fired, doors were barricaded as the building went into lockdown. Police there say there was a fight between a student and another individual in the classroom and a gun was used. One woman says her son was near the shooting.
He was under a desk right where it happened. He's telling me like a friend is shot, his first period teacher is shot, and he's just nervous and is all would be in shock. And he's just like, "Mama, where are you? Just make sure you're here."
At least 3 of those victims suffered gunshot wounds and taken to a hospital. We're told that a 15-year-old is listed in critical condition. The 18-year-old shooter is in custody, as we said, facing multiple charges. Authorities in North Carolina have investigated multiple reported sightings of Brian Laundrie. The 23-year-old is wanted for questioning and the disappearance of his fiancée, Gabby Petito, whose death was ruled a homicide. Investigators say that tipsters have reported a dozen sightings of Laundrie in the western part of the state near the Tennessee border since Thursday. Those reports include a 911 call by a man claiming he was 99.99% that he spoke to Laundrie. Investigators in North Carolina say they've followed up on every tip, but all to no avail. Laundrie was last seen by his parents at their Florida home on September 14th. His family said he had gone hiking in the Carlton Reserve, but never returned. 7 passengers injured in an Amtrak derailment in Montana last weekend are suing. The lawsuits allege negligence from Amtrak and BNSF Railway. A passenger's attorney says that the plaintiffs will look into maintenance, car condition, and human error. They want to find out if any of that contributed to the deadly derailment. 3 people died, dozens were hurt when several train cars came off the tracks. The defendants didn't comment on the new lawsuits. After weeks of legislative posturing and gridlock, there are signs that there could be a deal in the works to raise the debt ceiling. It comes after a warning from President Biden and key business leaders that failure to reach a compromise in the next 12 days could be catastrophic. Jay Gray reports from Capitol Hill on what it could mean for you if the country can't pay its bills.
After blocking the process for weeks, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, in a written statement late this afternoon, now says Republicans will agree to a short-term measure at a fixed dollar amount to cover current spending levels into December, or an expedited reconciliation process to raise the debt ceiling so the country can continue to pay its bills. The initial response from Democrats:
why should we accept any part of a BS offer?
The first signs of any back and forth on the issue come as President Biden sits down with some of Wall Street's most powerful CEOs to discuss strategy and the potential consequences of failing to break through the partisan gridlock on Capitol Hill.
It's a meteor headed to crash into our economy. We should all want to stop it.
Analysts have predicted a government default would likely trigger a recession. More than 6 million jobs could be lost. Interest rates would climb. Social Security payments and paychecks for those serving in the military could stop. There would likely be chaos in the markets, and as much as $15 trillion in household wealth could be lost.
If you had a home and somebody said, guess what, your foundation it's defaulted, it's basically broken, the house will rumble and the house may even collapse.
An ominous warning with time running out.
There is a third option in all of this. Senate Democrats could change rules in the upper chamber, allowing the debt limit to be increased by a simple majority vote. Many, including the president, have said they want to avoid that nuclear option. Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg responded after a former employee testified yesterday before a Senate committee that the social media company puts profits before safety. He sent a letter to employees that was later posted on Facebook. In it, he said many of the claims don't make any sense, and it's very important to me that everything we build is safe and good for kids. Some lawmakers are now calling on Zuckerberg to testify before the panel. At-home COVID tests are being recalled later on Valley News Live at 5. What the issue is.
And our friends at the Minnesota DNR say peak fall colors are coming across most of northern Minnesota, some past peak at this time in the far northwestern corner. We do have some changes coming in the forecast, some spotty severe weather potential to close out your work week, but what comes afterwards has our concerns as well. Your forecast is next.